Hey everybody, I'm gonna wait a couple seconds so that I could have an appropriate start to this video. Hi, hey in the chat. I see you in the chat. Hi, how are you? Can you guys let me know if you can hear me clearly? Hey Mashawn, hey Ginger, hey Ashley, hey Lauren, hey Medaya, hey Amber, hey Sub, hey Stephanie. How are you guys? Thank you for letting me know that you can hear me. Hey Shayna. Hey Arnisa. Hey Cece. Hey Gabriella. Hey Shelby. Hey Brown Sugar. Hey Psalms. Hey Jason. Nia. What's up, Lexa? Hey Kay. Hey y'all. I'm gonna just take my time. I'm gonna take my time with this one. Y'all see the title. Hey Kim. Hey y'all. I don't remember you, Jason. What's up? Listen, I know y'all see the title. Hey Remy. Alright, y'all, so y'all give me life all the time. I love y'all. I'm gonna get started. So y'all see the title. It says, the number one thing I regret after leaving a cult. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Velvet Gabriella. I was in a cult for about 3 years. I've been out of this cult for a year and a half now. And recently, I've had some really strong epiphanies. I've had some real clarity. And I kind of recently I kind of stayed off social media for particular reasons. But now I'm back and I just wanted to talk about this because whether you were in a cult like me or if you were exposed to any type of trauma or domestic violence or sex trafficking, whatever it is, I think this might help you, start your healing process. Needless to say, after I exit this cult, I didn't really understand the damage that I had done to my friends and family. I didn't understand the impact that I had on the people around me. And, it wasn't until just recently, over the course of these last 3 days, that I really realized the damage that I did. And I've apologized to a lot of people who I have hurt. And I'm not saying that that apology was in vain, because it wasn't. It was sincere. But I've started to understand more along the lines of why I felt compelled to apologize to these individuals. And I just want to take the time out to apologize again, apologize to people who I have hurt, who I may have hurt that I didn't know of. I can't really pinpoint every single person who I have hurt because I've hurt a lot of people. I can admit that because of the actions that I had in my past. Some of the things that I did, it was not right. Because I am a person of justice, I would like to see myself as a person of justice, balance, fairness. I think it's only right that I apologize to everybody. And in the beginning, it wasn't hard for me to apologize because I had to give myself grace. Otherwise, I would have, just been beating myself up way too much in the process because I do still have room to grow. And I am currently growing still. So I had to find a fine line between owning up to the things that I did and, um, you know, just allowing myself to feel um, better about the decisions that I did make. So I had a friend that came along who exposed to me recently just with her essence and who she is, which I greatly appreciate. Shout out to Ashley Jones. I love you, girl. She made me realize the importance of the relationships that I threw away. She made me realize the importance of the people around me who are supporting me, who are taking care of me, who are pouring love into me, who are allowing me to. Aviana, hold on, y'all. Aviana wants this thing. Hold on. Okay. So yes, she exposed to me that she just exposed to me the importance of the relationships that I have currently and relationships that I had in the past. So in the past, when I had these relationships, because of certain traumas that I had as an individual, if to the slightest degree, if I felt emotionally neglected or um, misunderstood, I would just like leave. I wouldn't tell anybody that I was leaving. I would just leave. I wouldn't feel obligated to have a conversation, about the decision that I made. And I say very, very negative things about most of the people who are still here for me today. And so when Ashley came into my life, I had then relived the things that I said and the things that I did and how I feel about that. I don't feel great about that. I don't feel like just about that. But what I do feel good about is the fact that I continued to have the courage to leave the situation that I was in to reestablish these relationships, get an understanding, talk to them, and try to explain to them the way that my mind was working when I was in that situation. And I feel as though I have gotten closure from a lot of the trauma that I caused in other people's lives. And I wish and I hope and I pray that they have gotten some closure as well. Because the last thing that I want to be in someone's life is a person who have mistreated them and made them feel like sugar honey iced tea and was negligent of their feelings and what they're going through. I don't want to be that person. I don't think that I am that person. But due to the fact of the circumstances that were at hand, it made me that person. And so recently I've been struggling with like keeping that connection consistent with the people who love me and care about me. And sometimes I feel that it's hard, especially in this last year and a half. I felt that it was hard because I had a lot of deprogramming to do within myself, within my child. I had to reestablish some things within myself. And as much as I want to be there for other people, in the last year and a half, I just felt like I couldn't be there for nobody but myself. I feel like I already had spread myself so thin that if I would have given more of me to another circumstance, I would have just have lost myself in that situation as well. So in the last year and a half, I've been really finding myself, reestablishing characteristics that I have and re-implementing them back into my life. So now I'm at a point where I feel gratitude for the people that are here in my life. And I feel like I want to call them and I want to say I love them. I feel like I want to call and say I'm sorry. I feel like, I want to just show them the love that I do have for them. But honestly, it's still kind of hard for me to keep up with all of the connections that I do have. I have a lot of connections. And sometimes I have to focus on certain things that I'm currently going through so that my entire situation can work itself out the way that it needs to be. And it really sucks that part of my life was just blasted online, and you guys seen that, because who I was in the past, I was always that person showing up for the people who I loved. I was always, that positivity in their lives, and in the people who I loved lives. I was always showing them beautiful things and injecting love into them. And so I know that that's the reason why I still have a strong support system, because I genuinely feel like outside of me, I genuinely feel like whatever you put out into the world, however you treat people, however you respond to certain things, at some point in life, at some point in time in life, you're going to reap that back to you. And so with that thought, I started questioning myself. I started questioning, like, am I really a nice person? Am I really a loving being? Like, do I really care about people? And that was a dangerous place for me to be in, because I know who I am. I know my capabilities. I know my worth. I know what I have to offer. I know my values. I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses better now than I did before. But even still, back then, like, I knew who I was. So once I realized that it wasn't necessarily my actions or my actions of how I treated other people that manifested or drew to me the circumstance that I was in with the cult, and more having to do with me seeking knowledge, information, wanting to experience another side of life, and just fall more into my purpose, I found myself there. So now that I'm like, give me a second. Look. She's teething, guys. She's teething. Let me see. And she's sleeping. put something on her gums. She don't like ice, but I put something on her gums though. She don't want milk. Let me try again. Hold on. So yeah, guys. Once I realized the reason why I was in that situation was because I was searching for more out of life, was when I was able to forgive myself for the things that I'd done. And I realized that what I went through in my past, all of the chaos that I caused in my past, was for my purpose that I have now. You know, I have a purpose, and I had to go through certain things in order to figure myself out, dig deeper within myself so that I can know myself more, you know. And I was very young, very impressionable as well. I didn't know a lot of nothing about life. I had no experience of any science of, you know, that I learned. I didn't have no knowledge about certain scriptures in the Bible, Egyptology, you name it. Like I was not aware. And so I learned all of that and more. And I'm still learning about these sciences and stuff like that. So now that I'm able to have these connections with the past that I have, I feel more grateful for the people that I have in my life. And I feel like everything that I've done, I can't even, like, I know that I told you I feel like I want to call them and say that I love them, and I want to show the people around me how much I love them, but sometimes I feel like it's not worth it, only because I feel like my words are not valid. I feel like what I say is not reigning as truth to the other party, and I feel silenced in that way. I still do manage to say that I love you though, in my own way. But I'm doing the best that I can with what I have to show people that that's not who I was. That's not who I am. That person that was in the code. And so, am I still hard on myself now? No. But what I do struggle with now with people in general is the fact that when they meet me, because they watched me on social media, when they meet me in person or they're texting me online, you know, they feel like I'm somebody in their mind, rather the person who I'm showing them I am. And it's weird because when you get to know someone, or when you're in a relationship with someone to get to know them, it takes more than 2 days to get to know them fully. It takes more than a week. It takes more than 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. It takes more than a year to get to know somebody. So the thing that I struggle with now is when I have relationships, not all of them, but when I have certain relationships, people have this narrative of who they think I am in their mind. And so they quickly are judging like every single action that I'm doing, everything that I'm saying, and then they make me feel like I'm neglecting who they are. And it's just is it because I am a just person, and I am proud of the fact that I can be righteous at times when I am not being perceived correctly, or the way that I perceive myself rather. It send me into this mode of like self-doubt and questioning, and like it just makes me feel like, am I am I am I like you know but at the end of the day, I know what I have to offer, and I know that the people who genuinely get to know me, the people who genuinely stay around me and get to know me and build that connection with me, they eventually will see who I am. You know? They will eventually get to see the real Velvet, and I'm not into forcing anybody to have a relationship with me or get to know me, and that's why I'm by myself a lot of the times, because I always come across people who are prejudging me. And I don't like that, because I don't prejudge people. I allow people to be who they are. I allow people to express themselves. And I know that in the cult that I was in, and when you watched me in that cult, it made it, the situation made me look like I was selfish and self-centered, and like just forcing my opinion onto people. And in that regard, there was a lot of brainwashing that happened to me. I believed in a certain thing, and when I believed in that, of course I pushed that forward. So I'm still in I'm still human. I'm still human, and even if I did have these characteristics, you know, it would be nice. It would be nice to have friends who, instead of judging me, be real with me and still love me through the process, because that's what I would do. That's what I do. A lot of people hurt me. Like, a lot of people hurt me. Like, I know that there's this narrative of me that, I hurt people, and I can say where I hurt people, and I'm not ashamed of that, because I did that, and I'm not, you know, I'm not afraid to take responsibility for what I did. But on the other hand, on another note, you know, people who hurt me, people who did bad things to me, I forgave them. I was continuing to move forward with them. I gave them chance after chance after chance to have a relationship with me. And when I would give them chances, the Lord would pull me away from that person, because they weren't able to be faced with that challenge within themselves to, say that they're sorry to me, or just take responsibility for what they had done. And so in that regard, I have been isolating myself. Sometimes I don't know if it's okay to say I love someone or build a relationship or anything like that, because in the back of my head, everything that I've been through, I don't know you either, and I'm not prejudging you, so it's a very interesting dynamic, when it comes to people. But for me personally, the way that I get over that, and the way that I have been getting over that, rebuilding the connections that I have and building new ones, I ask questions. And I don't ask questions like passively aggressively, or try to like make them feel or belittle them in the process of me asking the questions. I genuinely want to understand where they're coming from, how they're feeling, what they're thinking, because that's just how I am. Like, that's just, I would do that for someone else. I do that for other people. I give people a chance to explain themselves. I give people a chance to, be who they are. And even still, then when they are who they are, and if it's something toxic or it's something that's negative, I still give them the benefit of the doubt. And I say, you're not that. You're not that. For real, you're not. You have much more potential. Because the reason why I get into relationships with people and I have friends is because I naturally look at the potential of a person. I don't look at flaws and what you're doing wrong and the things you might be bad at. Like, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about your potential. I'm worried about the great things that you can offer. Like, let's build upon that. And that was one of the main reasons why I stuck around so long in the cult, because I was giving it the benefit of the doubt. I was seeing an illusion of potential that wasn't reality. And so I had to forgive myself, because not only did I make a fool out of everybody who I disrespected, but I made a fool of myself. And I have to live with that every day. And so, when things happen in my life now, I just continue to be true to myself. I stopped questioning who I am, because there is way much more evidence of, who I am as a person and the impact that I made on people's lives than it is of the character that you guys saw in the last 3 years. So, we all have phases. We all have things that we have to experience in order to learn, in order to grow, in order to obtain wisdom. And none of us can run from these circumstances. Now, you do have people who try to run from these circumstances. And when they run from these circumstances, they find themselves in situations that they shouldn't be in, like prison, like still being in toxic relationships that they know they should get out of. They convince themselves that it's okay. They convince themselves that the toxicity is normal. And they're normalizing domestic abuse and all of the things that hurt them and that traumatize them. And as a young individual like myself, having two young girls, I don't want them to go around in life thinking that these negative behaviors, even within themselves, are healthy or normal. I want them to be able to pinpoint when they're being negative or when they're being toxic, so that they can take that energy or that characteristic trait and start to apply more constructive ways of expressing themselves. And that's all I wanted in the past. I was always trying to figure out, okay, well, we know this is toxic, so can we do this? And y'all would see the whole situation morph. And y'all, you would see, it started to revolve around monogamy even, because I was always looking for solutions and trying to fix the situation, but it always ended up in chaos, in shambles. The cookie always crumbled because of the leader, because of the person who was pouring this quote unquote knowledge into the minds of the people that was around him and was telling them that this is best, this is best, this is best, when in fact it wasn't. And so, I've forgiven myself. And honestly, at the end of the day, even if you think that I might be selfish at some point in time, every single one of us in this life and in the world, we're going to have to be selfish at some point of time for ourselves. Because if you don't take care of yourself, I'm not saying be self-centered to the point where you're neglecting other people, hurting other people, and causing confusion in other people's lives. If that was me in the last, if who I was in Carbonation in the last year and a half, you would be able to see that. But unfortunately, fortunately, because that is fortunate, fortunately, you don't see that, because that's not who I am. Needless to say, we all have a choice. We all have a choice. We all have a choice either to give into those characteristic traits or fall far away from it. We have a choice. I made my choice. I made the choice that I felt was best for me and my girls, and I feel that I don't owe anybody anything. I don't owe anybody anything other than the apology and the how do I say it? Reciprocity. I think that's how you say that word. If I'm in a relationship with them, a consistent relationship with them, that's the only thing that I owe people. You know, it's consistency if we have a relationship, honesty if we have a relationship, being loyal to who I am while being in the situation. You know, outside of that, I'm not obligated to show or prove to anyone who I am, who I'm not. Like, I'm going to do me. I'm going to be me. I'm going to continue to just be myself. I don't desire to be anyone else. I don't desire to be the character that the co-leader perpetrated me to be over social media. I don't desire to be that. Because if that was the case, if I did desire to be her, then I would be being her. But that's not who I am. And I think that a lot of people who watch the situation online get things misconstrued when it comes to all of the people who have been in that situation. Because these people who you see going through that, they're not, like, some of them, no doubt, like, I ain't even gonna flex, like, some of them do have bad characteristics at the end of the day, which we all do. You feel me? So, you know, we just have to be able to take responsibility for that. But majority of these people who you see going through that, they're broken. They're heartbroken. They're broken mentally. They're broken emotionally. They're broken spiritually. And so they're trying to find something to fill voids that they know nothing about within themselves, because they're not turning toward themselves. They're not turning toward God, the true Most High. So they run to knowledge, things, people, places to try and make themselves feel better by doing certain things to get validation from certain circumstances that has nothing to do with anything. At the end of the day, it's just a cycle that keeps perpetuating itself, that leaves a mark of trauma. And I didn't want to be that person. That's not who I ever was. That's not who I ever was. So, you know, I have accomplished very great things before the cult that I was in. I was in activist groups. One of the activist groups that I was in, my picture, they had a literally, I wasn't even deceased or anything. They literally made a mural of me and put it on the wall, so that when people walk in, they're looking at my picture. They're looking at the great things that people said about me. And I'm not talking about people my age. I'm talking about adults. I'm talking about 30 plus years old adults. I literally, published 2 short narratives when I was 17, when I was in the 12th grade in high school. I accomplished a lot of great things. I traveled, business opportunities. I had things to look forward to. I was able to get myself into college, work a job, and pay for my own tuition. I was able to do these things. So, it just is what it is. And when I was going through that situation, I learned a lot of wisdom from that. And I'm able to now take that into my future, because now that I have more opportunities because of who I am, I now know how to deal with certain people when it comes to certain things. So just as great as I was before that situation, that doesn't change. My greatness doesn't change. It only gets greater, especially when I'm making the right choices and the right decisions to keep myself out of negativity and toxicity. So no, I don't let that situation define me. And I'm not going to allow other people to define me because I went through that. And that's just on period. Like, if people have a narrative of you in their minds, and they're telling themselves this lie that, oh, this person is that, that's the people that you don't need around you. That's the people that you should get from around you, because they don't care to get to know you. They don't care to, sit with you and talk to you and genuinely ask you questions that in a way that they're not trying to attack you. Those are the people that you need furthest away from you, because they're here to try and destroy you, try to get you to second guess yourself so that you can fall victim to negative circumstances. But I'm not a victim. I don't look at myself as a victim. I don't look at myself as a victim. Because if I was a victim, I would be broken. I would be suffering. And I'm not broken. I'm not suffering. I might have had my moment when I was broken, but I'm not a broken person. I'm a whole person. I'm whole. And I'm still building upon that wholeness. And I'm not going to let anybody take that from me. I'm not going to allow anybody to come into my life and take that from me. I have boundaries. I have boundaries. I look at myself as a survivor of domestic abuse. I look at myself as a survivor of sex trafficking, because I could have died multiple times. Multiple times. I was choked with no breath left in my body so many times, passed out from strangulation so many times, bust lip, bruised eyes, literally punched me in my coccyx bone when I was pregnant, was beaten when I was pregnant, nose bleeding, all kinds of stuff. Breaking my head on toilet seats, punching me wherever he could, like just threatening me constantly, death threats. I am a survivor of domestic abuse. Period. Period. And I'm not going to allow anybody to define me by what I went through. Period. Period. But the number one thing that I regret from that entire situation was when I was manipulated to believe in a certain knowledge, and I turned my back on the people who loved me, and I cursed them out, and I disrespected them in front of the entire world. That is my number one regret. Outside of that, I have no regrets, because of the fact that I wouldn't be able to have the wisdom that I have right now. I wouldn't be able to have the tenacity that I have right now, the courage, the bravery, the voice that I have right now. I'm not only speaking for myself. People say, "Oh, you're selfish." How is this being selfish? If I'm speaking out about my experiences and I know that other people been through those same experiences, I'm essentially speaking for us all. Because some people don't have a social media platform where thousands of people watch them and want to get to know them and are egging them on and giving them love and encouraging them 24/7. Not a lot of us have that. But if I can be that light in the world where the Lord shine favor and grace upon me to be that for the world, that's my purpose. That's my purpose. And I can't do or be anything else but that. People have told me so many times, you need a therapist, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. The only thing that you can tell me is nothing really, only because of the fact that you have to worry about what you have to do for yourself. If you're not coming to me and saying to me, Vel, you genuinely hurt my feelings, and you hurt my feelings because of XYZ. And, you know, when you were going through that, I saw that this was happening and that was happening, and it hurt me. If you're not expressing that to me, if you're not giving me wisdom, if you're not telling me, Vel, in the next time you get into a situation with a man, have boundaries. Don't let him do this to you. Don't let him do that to you. If you're not coming at me like that, then there is nothing that you should tell me. You should just keep your opinion to yourself. Because when you're injecting your opinion onto me, or you know, pushing your opinion onto me, that's tearing me down. You're tearing me down. I don't tear people down. When I come into people's life, I uplift them, whether that is because I be myself or if I'm physically and verbally telling them something, period. So I don't expect people to do that to me in my life. And when people are doing that, I'm going to dismiss you. Like, you have to leave. You have to get out of my life, because I don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. I don't care how much right or wrong anybody does in life. We all have a obligation to each other to give each other grace, so that we all can fail forward, so that we all can learn. And then we have an obligation to extend wisdom to each other. That is it. We're not supposed to judge each other by what we've been through. We're not supposed to say, oh, ha, 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 look at you, you're a dumbass. We're not supposed to do that, and that's real. That's just real. We're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to see each other, uplift each other. You're constantly injecting brokenness into a situation that's already broken. You're constantly injecting negativity into a situation that's already negative. You're constantly making remarks and saying sarcastic things about a situation that is not righteous. You cannot fight fire with fire. The only thing that you can do in a situation like that is inject positivity, inject love, inject wisdom. That's what you do. That's what you do. So, you know, that's the only thing that I regret. But outside of that, like, I've noticed that because I have that regret, people come into my life, and some people have come into my life and they started making me feel guilty about who I am, you know? And in fact, I never did them anything. A person that I met came into my life, just made me feel guilty for something that I shouldn't feel guilty about, because they're playing on the fact that I have some type of regret somewhere. That's not okay. I'm not gonna allow people to come into my life and play on the things that I might still be healing within myself. Like, I don't do messed up nothing to nobody. I'm in my own world. I'm in my own lane. I do my own thing. I am not harming nobody. I don't talk about nobody. I don't do none of that. I might vent. I don't even talk about the people who I feel like hurt me. Y'all have not heard me talk about people who I feel like hurt me, other than a situation where I was telling the truth about the circumstance at hand because somebody asked me a question. And I can only give but the truth. So, so, I have changed the glasses that I have on and how I view life. I'm not banking on your potential. I'm not banking on your potential. I'm banking on who you show me to be. Who you show me who when you show me who you are. That's what I'm banking on. The person who you really are, your actions. I'm not banking on what you say. I'm not banking on the materialistics that you're giving me. I'm banking on your actions. I'm looking at your actions. And I really feel like the situation that I've been through, when I went through that situation with the code, I needed to go through that, so that now that I'm having greater opportunities because I started making the right decisions, is now able to I'm now able to see that I shouldn't bank on people's potential. I shouldn't bank on what people are telling me. I shouldn't bank on somebody saying, "Oh, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you," and then love bomb me. I shouldn't bank on that. I should bank on people's actions, because actions speak louder than words. And sometimes I struggle with getting on the camera and talking because I'm tired of talking. I'm tired of talking. I don't have nothing to say other than what I'm actively doing in my life. And then again, even with that, I feel like y'all nosy. Some people are nosy. I'm not talking to my supporters, it's because y'all don't be on my neck like that. But I'm talking about the people who constantly watching me and making fake pages and doing all this weirdo stuff. Y'all doing too much. Like, y'all want to know too much about me, when in fact I don't do nothing. I just stay in my own lane. Like, y'all, I'm doing me so much that y'all just gotta pry some kind of way, gotta find a way in, gotta do something. You just gotta do something. So at the end of the day, I've learned certain characteristics that people have, that people listen, I'm not even gonna say that, but at the end of the day, yeah, I learned a lot. And I don't take it for granted. And on the end note, on a positive note, I do genuinely love, if I have a connection to you right now, if I have a rapport with you right now, if I'm doing business with you right now, if I have an intimate relationship with you right now, if I have anything with you right now, I love you. And I genuinely feel like that. And every day of my waking life, you can bank on my actions. You don't have to bank on what I'm saying. You don't have to bank on, what I said or what I did or what I'm gonna say. Bank on my actions. That's all I'm gonna say. Bank on my actions. And however you, even if you bank on my actions, however you perceive me, that's still on you as well. Because some people, even if somebody has certain actions, some people still take it OD and be like, oh, that person is this, that person is that. And then they try to find something. So, I have discernment. At the end of the day, I have discernment. And on that note, the only reason why I'm talking about the number one thing that I regret is because when my friend came into my life, I realized the disconnect that I had between the people who are still here for me. I realized how people are literally in my life supporting me, and I didn't ask them to be there. I'm not forcing them to be. They genuinely are there to help me, to see me grow, and to uplift me into who I am actually supposed to be. They support the real me. And that's something that is just absolutely outstanding. Seriously. Like that's a very great gift and blessing that the Lord has given to me. And I wouldn't change it in or exchange it for nothing in the world, because those relationships that I have kept me alive. They resuscitated me back to life. They resuscitated me back to who I am at the core of me. And so, I love everybody who support me. And one thing I can say, because I don't like giving y'all too much, but one thing I can say is that in my past, I was always a provider. I was always a giver. If you ever ask anybody about me in my past, they'll tell you. Velvet always was just, yeah, we helped her, but she was always this way. She was always this way. So in the future, the people who really stick around, the people who really have my back, the people who really see me for who I am, the people who really want to see me thrive into the queen, empress, whatever you want to call it. Whoever sticks around, that's gonna be the people who's gonna be blessed by me, because the Lord is giving me, He's giving me everything that I need to be able to keep these relationships healthy. And my children are gonna need me to teach them this one day. My children are gonna need me to inject this wisdom into them, share this wisdom with them, so that they can be upright women, so that they can be virtuous women, so that they can be strong women, so that they can be brave women, courageous women with their back straightened, and they have a backbone, and they have thick skin, so much so to so much so to the point where they're not going to allow just anybody and anything to come up in their life and snatch they goodies, or snatch whatever it is that they have to offer that's great to the world. So on that note, I appreciate y'all for always listening to me and always continuing to give me. Thank you for the super chats. I seen that y'all was giving, but I was in flow. And I appreciate y'all. And so, until next time. Later.